For years, carbohydrates have been treated as the enemy. In every trendy diet, every conversation about weight loss, there's always someone pointing the finger and saying, cut the carbs. But is the real problem in the carbohydrates themselves, or in the way we've learned to deal with them? I see many people who are afraid to eat, afraid of a plate of rice, of a fruit, of a piece of bread. And that fear is understandable because we've been bombarded with messages that oversimplified something that is, in truth, much more complex. The human body doesn't work with good and bad. It works with balance, function, and purpose. Carbohydrates are not villains. They are the fuel that makes the body function. Without them, the brain loses focus, mood swings happen, physical performance drops, and even metabolism slows down. But not all carbohydrates are the same, and that's where the secret lies. The type of carbohydrate you choose can be the difference between nourishing your body or overloading it. Today, I want to show you 4 carbohydrates that are good for you, simple, accessible foods, but deeply intelligent from a biological perspective. They don't just give you energy, they nourish, balance, and restore. And when you understand that, eating stops being an act of guilt and goes back to being what it has always been, an act of care. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Joni, and on this channel, I share health and nutrition tips for people over 40 who want to achieve a better quality of life through food. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos, leave a like, and share it with more people. Let's begin. Carbohydrates are not the villain. They're vital fuel. Before we talk about the 4 foods, it's important to understand why the body needs carbohydrates. Scientifically, they are the main source of glucose, which is the preferred fuel for our cells, especially brain cells. The human brain consumes, on average, 20% of the body's total energy. Without enough glucose, it loses cognitive performance, and we feel it in our daily lives. Mental fatigue, irritability, lack of concentration, memory lapses. When someone cuts out carbohydrates completely, the body enters a state called ketosis. It's a survival adaptation. The body starts using fat as its main source of energy. It works, yes, but at the cost of a series of hormonal and metabolic adjustments that aren't sustainable for everyone. In the long term, this can cause physiological stress, muscle loss, chronic fatigue, and even hormonal imbalances. What truly matters is not the absence of carbohydrates, but their quality. Complex carbohydrates, those rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, digest slowly, release energy gradually, and feed the good bacteria in the gut. They don't cause glucose or insulin spikes. They sustain, they balance, they nourish. The 4 I've chosen to talk about today represent exactly that: energy that helps rather than harms. 1. Oats, the power of satiety and the mind. Oats are one of the most underrated foods out there. They're simple and inexpensive, but their composition is impressive. They're rich in a type of fiber called beta-glucan, which forms a gel in the digestive tract and helps regulate glucose release in the blood. This fiber is the reason oats keep you full and maintain constant energy for hours. But the impact of oats goes beyond blood sugar. Studies show that beta-glucan helps reduce LDL cholesterol, known as bad cholesterol. It also feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which improves immunity and even mood, since the gut produces neurotransmitters like serotonin. Think of oats as a food that communicates with your body on multiple levels. They stabilize blood sugar, improve digestion, and calm the nervous system. It's the kind of carbohydrate that not only sustains the body but also the mind. For those seeking focus, emotional stability, and mental performance, including oats in your daily diet is a smart choice. It's not a fad, it's pure science, applied naturally. 2. Sweet potato, stable and natural energy. The sweet potato is the symbol of quality energy. Behind its fame among athletes lies a solid physiological explanation. It has a moderate glycemic index, meaning it releases glucose into the blood slowly and steadily. This prevents sudden spikes and drops in energy, the kind that cause cravings and fatigue. But what few people mention is that the sweet potato is rich in essential micronutrients for metabolism, such as magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins. These nutrients participate in converting glucose into cellular energy. In other words, the sweet potato not only provides energy, it teaches the body how to use it better. Another important point is the presence of antioxidants, especially in purple and orange varieties, which contain anthocyanins and beta-carotenes. These compounds fight oxidative stress, one of the main culprits of premature aging and inflammatory diseases. When consumed in moderation and balance, the sweet potato becomes an example of how natural energy from food is smarter than any ultra-processed product. It nourishes, strengthens, and brings true vitality, the kind that comes from within, not from a temporary stimulus. 3. Brown rice, balance and essential nutrition. For a long time, rice was seen as the villain of the Brazilian plate. But the truth is, the problem was never the rice. It was the lack of variety and balance. Brown rice, for example, is a food of very high nutritional value. It retains all three parts of the grain: the bran, the germ, and the endosperm, exactly where the fibers, minerals, and antioxidants are found. While white rice digests quickly and causes glucose spikes, brown rice offers a slow and steady release of energy. This helps with satiety and appetite control, as well as improving digestion and intestinal function. Brown rice also contains manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, and selenium, minerals that participate in energy production and the body's antioxidant defense. In simple terms, it helps your cells work better, and that translates into more energy, focus, and physical endurance. For many people, brown rice represents a return to basics, eating simply but completely. It's not about cutting rice. It's about choosing the version that nourishes instead of just filling. 4. Fruits, the sweetness the body recognizes. We live in a time when sugar is seen as the great enemy, and with good reason. Excess added sugars are linked to countless diseases. But it's important to differentiate artificial sugar from the natural sugar found in fruits. Fruits are sources of natural fructose, accompanied by fiber, water, vitamins, and antioxidants, which completely change how the body processes it. When you eat a whole fruit, glucose release is moderated by fiber, preventing blood sugar spikes. In addition, each fruit brings its own unique profile of micronutrients and bioactive compounds. Apples are rich in quercetin, a powerful antioxidant. Bananas provide tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin, which improves mood. Avocados, though lower in carbs, offer healthy fats that balance glucose absorption. Berries contain anthocyanins, which reduce inflammation. The secret is understanding that the human body recognizes natural food. The problem was never fructose. It was the excess and concentrated form found in industrialized products. Eating fruits means giving your body living energy, coming directly from nature in its purest and smartest form. When we think about food, it's common to fall into the trap of guilt. We count calories, avoid entire food groups, and follow rules that change with every new trend. But the body doesn't need extremes. It needs coherence. It needs foods that communicate with its biology, not confuse it. The 4 carbohydrates I mentioned, oats, sweet potato, brown rice, and fruits, are examples of how nutrition isn't about restriction, but understanding. They show that it's possible to have energy, pleasure, and health on the same plate. And more importantly, they show that nourishing the body is also nourishing the mind and emotions. I'll leave some links in the video description for supplements that can help with your health. Supplements that can help you sleep better, have a healthy gut, and maintain good gastrointestinal function, so check them out. Well, eating well isn't an act of strict discipline, it's an act of respect. Respect for the body that sustains you, for the mind that needs to function, and for the life you want to live with vitality. Food is a silent language between you and your body. Each choice communicates something: comfort, hurry, carelessness, or love. When we choose foods that truly nourish, we are telling our bodies, "I care about you." And that's what the right carbohydrates do. They remind us that energy, balance, and health walk hand in hand. We don't need to fear them. We just need to recognize the power they have when used wisely. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next video.